I'm bullish on the stock market, and I think we're going to see a massive, violent rally here in the short term, and I myself have identified some different signs that might be signaling the market bottom is in. After hearing all that stuff come out of my mouth, some of you might think I am crazy, and I fully expect to hear that in the comments section down below. But before I get into what I have found in today's video, I just want to say one thing. If you guys are new here or returning not yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button down below. It makes me happy to see all the new subscribers rolling in day after day. So if you want to see me happy, hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this. After reporting earnings today after hours, Snapchat stock was up 60% after being down almost 24% during the day. Amazon stock also reported earnings and was up 14% after hours after being down almost 8% during the day. Bill.com released earnings, and as a result, they're up 28% after hours after being down 8% intraday. And finally, Unity Software also reported earnings, and they are up over 14% after hours after being down more than 9% intraday. It's shocking to me, but so many people are just baffled at this price action. Some are even angry at this price action, saying that there's no reason these stocks should be up. Their earnings weren't even that great. This is a bunch of crap. But I have to ask, have we as investors gone so far away of what has been proven to work in the stock market that we've forgotten that the stock market is always pricing things in, and that every reaction in the stock market, whether it be to the downside or the upside, is always an overreaction? Furthermore, have we forgotten that the best time to be buying stocks is during times of max FUD, when there is maximum fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the stock market? Have we forgotten that? Because it seems like that's the case after so many people are baffled at the price action after hours from so many different companies after reporting earnings. But they forget the fact that the market was pricing in terrible earnings because Facebook and PayPal reported terrible earnings. These companies that reported today were punished for that, and because their earnings weren't terrible, they ended up going up after hours. And I just want to warn each and every one of you watching this video right now, this happens every single time the market bottoms. The people that have sold their stocks or are betting against the markets are confused about the enthusiasm for 2 to 4 weeks of the rally, and they miss out on 20% or more of return that they could have had if they just invested their money and stuck to their principles about investing when we are in a max FUD environment, when everybody is saying sell. And I've already mentioned it in this video, but the stock market is always pricing things in, and investors have seemingly just forgotten about this. And right now, the stock market, if you want to know the truth, is pricing in recession. And every reaction in the stock market is an overreaction. Anything better than a recession will result in the stock market going green. And people are going to be so confused about it because a lot of the negative catalysts aren't going to fade away over the short term. But things are going to be better than they are currently priced in to be. Negative catalysts not being as negative as the market is predicting in itself is a positive catalyst for the markets. So I'm going to ask you another question. Can you personally think of anything that would be a new negative catalyst to the markets that the markets aren't already aware of right now? If your answer is no, you probably shouldn't be selling your stocks because that in itself is indicative that we are at maximum fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and that the maximum amount of negative catalysts are being priced into the stock market. Obviously, I'm not talking about World War III or another black swan event. I'm talking about things with high likelihood of happening. If you cannot think of anything new that the market is not already aware of, you probably should be buying and not selling. So now let's discuss the different signals we're seeing that would signal a market bottom. First of all, think about it. Does anybody share the same opinion about the future of the markets right now? I would argue no. Every single stock market YouTuber out there has a different opinion of what the future is going to look like for the markets. Every management team of public companies has a different opinion about what the future of the markets is going to look like, and because of that, lots of public companies aren't issuing future guidance because they are so uncertain about the future. That is signal number one, and it plays right into this thought process about maximum fear, uncertainty, and doubt. In this case, it's maximum uncertainty about what the future of the markets is going to look like. by any YouTuber you watch, by any management team you listen to, by any news station you listen to, by any financial media you read, by any financial advisor or market expert. It is all so uncertain, and everybody has a different opinion. And that is signal number one, that we're nearing a market bottom. Signal number two is simply the amount of short selling being done in the markets right now. With the S&P 500, well over 60% of total trading volume is due to short selling on any given trading day. 60% or higher is ridiculous for individual stocks, but a market index being shorted by 70%, meaning 70% of sellers are made up of short sellers rather than natural sellers of the index, that is simply just unbelievable. And anytime we hit a market bottom, it's generally when short selling volume peaks. And right now, when the market indices are being shorted at 60% or higher any given trading day, I would argue short selling volume is nearing a peak. Well over half of the selling pressure in the stock market is due to artificial selling, not natural selling from real investors. The same can be said about the NASDAQ, just on a larger scale. On any given trading day, NASDAQ short volume is exceeding 65%. That again is just unbelievable. That's unbelievable for individual stocks, but a market index, it's just crazy. And there's one thing that everybody needs to know about short sellers. Sure, they suck. But at some point in time, every single short seller is forced to be a buyer of whatever they are short selling. To cover their short sell, they have to buy stock. This in particular is the main reason I see this upcoming rally as being very violent and very quick. Because as soon as one short seller is forced to cover, it forces another to cover, then another, then another, then another. It's a snowball effect, and it shoots prices up super fast. The last signal we're seeing that a market bottom might be close is perhaps also the most important signal. Basically, the last domino that needed to fall is falling. We all know that last year in 2021, small caps were the first to get hit. Anybody that was investing in small caps had a terrible time in 2021. About halfway through 2021, most mid-cap companies started getting hit and started falling, and for the most part, anybody invested in mid-caps had a miserable 2021. But anybody that was invested in large caps or the biggest publicly traded stocks in the world had a tremendous 2021. Large caps are the last equities in the stock market that are yet to fall. And this again happens every single time the market is nearing a bottom. Large caps are generally the last thing to fall, and they're also the last thing to rise after a rally gets started. Small caps, on the other hand, they're generally the first things to fall, and they're the first things to start rallying. And this is also part of the reason that there is so much doubt and confusion about enthusiasm in the stock market when a bottom hits. Because the sellers take their confirmation bias and just say, oh, it's just small caps going up. They'll fall back down. If large caps aren't doing well, small caps won't either. But this is history. It's happened time and time again. Large caps are just simply the last ones to rise, and they're the last ones to fall in the market cycle. Small caps are the opposite. To end this video, I just want to give a quick analogy about the sellers, the people that have already sold out of their entire portfolio, the people that are abandoning their investment principles because of all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the markets right now. The way I see it, these investors are kind of like a lost dog. You know those dogs that just put their nose to the ground and start sniffing away, and then they lose track of where they are and they can't get back home because they're lost? This is what this group of investors looks like to me. They have their nose to the ground, they're ignoring anything that's pointing to a bullish reversal, and they're abandoning home base and their principles and what they're comfortable with, what they know is safe with investing. They're abandoning all of that to fit their confirmation bias. And honestly, I'm going to predict it in this video here. There's going to be an abundance of stock market investors that miss out on a 10 to 20% or more rally here in the coming month or two. And it's all because of this confirmation bias. They don't want to believe that the stock market is going to go back up because there's so much negative going on now. There's so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Despite in the past, in a bullish market, them believing that the best time to buy was in max fear, uncertainty, and doubt situations. They've abandoned that philosophy for whatever reason. And the fact we got such good reactions to the earnings reports today points to a higher low. I don't generally do technical analysis because this is not my forte, but if the markets are up significantly tomorrow, it solidifies this higher low, and all of a sudden, fundamentally, and technically, we are set up for a very bullish run over the next month or two. With that, I'm going to end this video here. If you enjoyed this, leave a like down below. I'll be back with a brand new video next week. I hope you have a great weekend. Peace out.